Hello there. Welcome to episode 9 of the New Player's Guide to Retail World of Warcraft. My name is Yogurt, and I am your guide on this journey. Today is a big day for us. We're going to hit level 80 in the War Within expansion, and we're going to start on our journey into endgame, gearing up, pursuing the quest of reaching 3K Raider IO score, which we'll actually explain about probably in this episode. And ahead of the achievement ahead of the curve, which is a raid achievement, before the start of season 3, which is very soon. So we'll see how it goes in that regard. If you're just joining at this episode when we're reaching level 80 and maybe you're at a different point in your leveling journey, you can refer back to the rest of the video series. If you're just starting out and you want to go through, from the beginning, from character creation, level 1, all the way through Dragonflight campaign and through the War Within campaign, you can use the playlist on my YouTube channel called The Beginner's Guide to Retail World of Warcraft and start at episode 1. This whole video series is kind of themed after, if there are any PoE players watching, Zizzarin's full playthrough series where he just goes through and explains everything. And so starting episode 1 starts at level 1 with this brand new character, Oatmeal the Rogue. We randomly pick a character, or we randomly pick a class and a faction, and just start our leveling journey and explain every single mechanic that we come across in that order. And then if you have purchased the War Within and you use the leveling boost, you can actually start at episode 6. The first episodes will have some fundamental information about the game, like the concepts of dungeons and stats and gear and item level and things like that. It's not the most complicated thing at all on the planet. So if you feel like you have a good handle on that and you really just want to just get in with your level boost and get to end game, starting at episode 6 is a great place to start. We'll talk a little bit about the War Within story, go through the campaign, level up, talk about some of the leveling events and all the different things there. We don't really do any War Within dungeons. That'll mostly be starting in the episode after this. But let's dive in here. I did mention at the end of last episode that I was probably going to turn on some more add-ons. So I'll kind of walk through these. So simple item level is one that I'm just going to turn on. This is one I use in my regular UI. It basically puts item levels in useful places. So it'll put it on your character screen, your character panel. I'm also going to set up Bartender 4 because that's going to help us clean up our UI a little bit. Bartender 4 is a bar add-on, so our action bars down at the bottom. We're using the default action bars that are available through Blizzard, which are totally fine. You can use those. You don't need Bartender at all. They rolled a lot of this functionality in, but there's one thing that I like that we're going to add in. Better character panel just makes the character panel a little bit better. So not really important on that one. Bigwigs is a decently important one. So Bigwigs is the what are referred to as boss mods. So this add-on Bigwigs will add timers to your screen for all of these different raids and raid bosses or raid fights throughout the different expansions. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to turn on here. For raiding, there's really not too much that we need. Khazalgar will be the world bosses in Khazalgar. Liberation of Undermine is the current season 2 raid, and then Manaforge Omega is the upcoming season 3 raid. I'm going to keep Cell off for now. This is my party frames add-on. We don't really need it too much as a rogue, but it could be good as a healer. So I would, if Automatic Jack is a YouTube creator and Twitch streamer, he has a good resource on configuring Cell for the first time. You can also just search on YouTube Cell configuration and it'll walk you through that, but it'll help make your party frames look a little bit better. And then the other one I'm going to turn on is Little Wigs. Little Wigs is the dungeon version of Bigwigs. So this will show you timers for all of these all the dungeons in these expansions. So if you are new and you're doing a lot of time walking, it might be worth turning on all of the different plugins for the previous expansions. The mechanics in those dungeons are pretty minimal. So it's not, especially in time walking, you're going to be so overpowered. I wouldn't worry about it. But if you want to learn, by all means, go ahead. It's just going to load these on demand, so it's not too resource heavy. And then the other one that I'm going to turn on, which we'll probably talk about soon, is Raider IO. This is a Mythic Plus add-on, and I'm going to turn on the Americas plugin because that's where we're playing from. I'm going to turn on Simple Combat Logger and Simulation Craft. We'll talk about those as well. I'm going to turn off Twitch emotes because that was making some funny stuff happen in the chat. And then I'm going to turn on World Quest's list. So World Quest list, we'll talk about World Quest. We kind of talked about them a little bit in the previous, when we finished the Dragonflight expansion. So like World Quests are end game content that is out in the world. You complete quests in certain areas that pop up and rotate. So they'll pop up on your map. Like they'll have a timer when they expire. It's nothing super sensitive. It's usually a little bit of gold, piece of gear, something like that. But can be useful for us, especially right when we hit level 80, because we're going to need some more gear. So if there's some easy wins out there that help us increase our item level, that'll be really good. So we might have to do a tiny little bit of bartender configuration real quick when we get in here. So just going to open this up. We unlock this. So this is just like edit mode. This is, I think, where the inspiration comes from. So this is the extra action button. This is the pet bar. We don't have to deal with pets because we're a rogue. We don't have any, but I'm just going to switch it out a little bit. I thought there was a quick way to make it horizontal, but I guess there isn't. So we're just going to slap the pet bar up here for now. Not super important for us. Stance bar is just for stealth, which we actually just have on our action bars, so we're not going to put that. Vehicle bar is what allows us to escape from the vehicle. So we're just going to move that over. Status tracking bar. Not actually sure. Then you can see it changes the bag bars. They're down here in the bottom left. It makes them a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. So we're going to hide the Blizzard art bar. We don't need that. View status, vehicle, micro menu. We want to keep all of those. And so bar 1, you can see our ability there, E and R. So the one thing we do lose is like the grid when we switch over to this. Bar 4, it looks like we're still using, and I think we use bar 3. So we're gonna put bar 3 there. Bar 4 is over in the corner. We're gonna leave bar 5. It's like hidden. We don't really need that. But bar 4, we're gonna change. That's how you do it. It's not horizontal or vertical. You change the number of rows to 1. So we'll drop that down there. And so one of the cool things that you can do with Bartender, which is something that I like, is I'm trying to remove a redundancy here. So with our old add-on, our old UI layout, we had our Blizzard action bars down here, and they were visible, and then we had our weak auras here in the middle of the screen. And because I can't remember my keybinds, I put the button text into my weak auras. So we're talking about some redundancy here. If you aren't using a class weak aura, you just have your buttons in the middle of the screen, completely disregard this, that you are totally fine. I just want to make the focus a little bit more cinematic, I guess, for everybody. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm actually going to reduce the size of the button bars a little bit. We'll do 0.9 instead of 1. And we will move them again, make sure they're somewhat close to where we want them. I think this is about halfway. 3. We could drop them down a little bit. There we go. And then with Bartender, they do kind of snap into place, so it's not all, chaotic. So we'll lock those. And then one of the things that I like to do is you can enable this fade out mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and just click that on all 4 of my bars. And you can actually fade it out so that they're invisible, but I just like to have a little bit of a ghost of the image in case I ever do need to go down there. And they still act as action bars, they're still available, but it just helps me kind of keep the whole focal point sort of up here at what I need to be looking at, which is all of these buttons. So brief minor UI change there. And then from a weak aura perspective, I just want to take a look at these. I'm going to talk to you about one other weak aura that I find super useful. We're going to add in here. So just a reminder, you go to wago.io, wago.io to access weak auras and download those. And I'm typing in the search bar now, Funki, Funki. Funki makes a weak aura called Funki Clickable Raid Buffs and Temporary Enchants. And you probably noticed, if you're keen, last time, I don't think I put poisons on a single time. And that's because I'm missing this weak aura that reminds me, hey, you should be putting poisons on, you silly guy. So you just go to wago.io, you type in Funki, and it's going to have this big bar that's going to pop up on the top of your screen. And what it's going to do is, if you are a class, it only activates when you're in a dungeon or I think in combat and you're missing something. But if you're a class that can buff or has a buff, or you have food that's available, you don't have a food buff active, or you're missing a pet on your warlock, or you have a soul stone available, your group needs health stones, it's going to put that up on your screen and you can click it and activate those. So it's super useful at helping to remind you to click a button there. So hopefully that'll help with my poisons. But we're not going to add any other weak auras yet. There are going to be a couple that we'll add. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in, I mentioned this one last time, my kick macro. I got this kick macro from some guy on Reddit, and it's pretty long. We haven't really talked about macros at all, but macros are essentially a way to combine certain abilities into sort of one thread. So you can't go in, there used to be a thing called cast sequence macros. You might still be able to use them, but I'm not entirely sure. I forgot, I need to click new, sorry. And so basically, like, it's really good for like adding in like potions to your major cooldowns or trinkets. You can combine them with like adrenaline rush, so that whenever you push adrenaline rush, you're pushing your trinket. Or you can do certain things like targeting your focus target, or setting your focus target. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. So this kick macro I got off of some guy on Reddit. And it looks complicated. I'll post it in there. The things to remember that you would need to do for yours, for if you use this macro, is there are certain mentions of the word kick. So /cast kick is at the bottom, and then at the top is also /cast kick, and then in show tooltip kick. You just need to change these names. I don't even think you need the show tooltip one. You just need to change these names to whatever your actual interrupt is. So for rogue, it's kick. So that's why I called it kick. For warrior, it's pummel. For Moonkin, it's Solar Beam. It doesn't really work for Warlock pets, unfortunately. But what the basic logic of this kick macro is that it will kick your focus target first. We can talk about focus targets in just a second. It'll kick your focus target first if you have a focus set, and if you don't have a focus set, it will clear your target and then tab target. And the way that the logic works is that the game will always try and have you tab target to a mob that's actively casting.
Follow your thread.
So what that means is you can click this button, and you should, in theory, always click or always target a mob that is actively casting and kick whatever it's casting. So we'll try and demonstrate this out in the open world. But right now we're just learning about why this spider is not part of the brood anymore and what's going on. Long story short, she just doesn't agree with what the way that their race and their leaders, the direction the leader's taking them in. We got some huge upgrades here for renown, which is great. That's due, as we mentioned, to the Winds of Mysterious Fortune buff that we have now. Great time to start a character right before season 3. Hopefully they keep this up at the end of seasons. Good time to level characters. So, and here you can see, now that we're out of the sanctuary, the main city, the funky weak aura popped up. So these are my poisons that I'm missing. So we're going to apply those as soon as we land over here in this other camp. So instant poison, and I guess a trophic poison. Take less damage.
Friend, you weren't followed, were you? We cannot hide from evil. In my heart, there is fire. A meal should offer some strength and comfort after all they've been through. A solvent was knocked over and dissolved the webbing of our cages.
I missed that one right by her.
How fortunate.
Pathfinder Jeb.
The nearest were arguing about new orders. Then they just walked off.
One man insisted on staying behind. Frin. Might want to get the madman before the venom does.
If you are lost in darkness, we are here to... Madman or no, I won't stand for a single soul being left behind. Go find him.
So with these XP increases, looks like we only have 30 seconds left on our other XP buff, but we're already almost level 79. So I think what I want to do...
My orders were clear. And yet, more overcrawlers regularly slip from our grasp. Failure! Unacceptable! Not only does this shame you, it shames me. Which means no one will hear of it. Clean up this refuse and get it out of my sight. And if you breathe a word of this to anyone, you're next.
Damn, am I thirsty. Don't look back. Spiders everywhere.
Flynn is a character from Battle for Azeroth. He was kind of like one of the narrative characters for the Alliance. And he had a nice, fun little story that involved the jailbreak. I mentioned my buff was running out. It did just run out for the XP. I'm not going to replenish it. I have more potions available, but I'm just going to hold on to those for now. Because what I want to do is get as close to the end of this campaign. I might even stop at chapter
pheromones sent
chapter
in?
2,
From
and I want to hit level 80 and
No idea what
test
that means. Looks
sort of like
my fellow
what
prisoners escaping
we're
just
working with.
These orders
Because
came
I
from
don't know where we're at in this expansion, if the campaign is required. Like, what does it look like when you hit level 80 and you haven't finished the campaign? So what we'll do is we'll just take a brief pivot, fly up, go back up to Dornagal, and kind of see
I'm all ears. Let's get
what
out
quests
alive.
are available to us. Does it send us straight into the Liberation Undermine? If that's the case, then, you know, I can instruct folks to go there to do that campaign. The reason that we want to do the campaign in the Liberation of Undermine, that's the zone for the current season. So it's going to come with some pretty serious benefits. One, we need to complete that campaign one time on our account to unlock the ability to do the quest to kill the final boss of the raid, which you can do in a couple really easy ways just to get the story. And two, the gear, there's item level catch-up gear that comes just from doing that campaign that will help us. So probably one of the first things that we're going to do after after we complete. Oh, it looks like I have a lot of elements here that are showing me the item level of my gear from those add-ons that I put on. So we're going to just go into our add-ons and maybe turn off simple item level.
Meanwhile, I'll get this intel.
Or do we want to turn off better character panel? Simple item level. Pretty sure I was using simple item level. Oh, that's not what it's called. What's it called? It's not ID tip. Oh yeah, simple item level. I was using it for my bag add-on before I got Bagnator, because my old bag add-on didn't have that information in there. So now we should just have, yeah, one item level, and my new bag add-on has what we need, which is perfect. Silk spun supplies. Oh, sweet. Got some reputation and some cloth.
What an interesting delivery. Everyone, return to your duties, now! Approach, intruder.
Yes, sir.
Look what the scales pulled in.
You know what? I think I do want to hit level 80 as quick as I can, so we actually are going to chug that potion.
We will speak again.
It's lonely at the top. Shh! I'm hiding here.
I know you're alive. The question is, are you useful?
Ugh. Why are these pheromones so gross?
This is an interesting development.
I think I'm a drone now.
For
I think I'm a drone now.
be thankful you are used
Look at all these bags.
Eliminating
Let's open them up.
Zeb
Boom,
Calls'
boom,
lackeys is but
boom.
the first move.
Boom, boom.
Blackmail will be the death blow.
Some good loot in here.
I'm gonna salvage what I
Good
can
pants.
here. Throw
Well,
together an explosive or two.
quests like these that are like really, really good when you're a rogue. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they covered us in pheromones anyways, that we could like walk around, but just to be able to fly around and stealth in to these like specific objectives. Actually very rogue-like. Hey, come back. Ooh, how spooky.
Loyal voices silenced. Seems Zeb Call wasn't paying attention.
A little overcrawler with the Nubazol scent mark. Get whatever you were sent for and get out of my way.
There's a lot of like espionage, not espionage themes, but there's a lot of sneaking and undercover in this zone when it comes to like the quests and the different campaigns and stuff like that.
Farewell for now.
Want Ace first. Doesn't really matter at this level, but might as well get in the habit of looking for it.
Looks like we've got work to do.
Acquire Zeb Call's pheromones for me.
We're almost level 79. Things are looking good.
You've got a deal. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Don't worry, I threw down my lockpicks. Also known as your rescue chariot awaits. This way, folks.
Thank goodness. If I had to listen to Baba Ganoush grind his teeth any longer.
Goodbye. We're over here.
Wait, please!
Death to you! You've made Zeb Pulse pheromones. There is no further need for you. That general's head!
Keep those pheromones out of Zeb Call's hands. It should buy a Nubazol more time.
What now? Do us proud. Bilgewater is on
79.
Get out there and get to it. Nice chat. Now get a move on. Bilgewater on duty. We better get moving. Remember, we're prisoners.
We could sing a song about how miserable we are? Maybe not just yet, Mira.
Maybe not ever, Mira.
Mira was also a character in Battle for Azeroth. And she was known for her tune about alpacas. She has two alpacas named Dolly and Dot, and they are her best friends.
Are your orders from Zeb Call or a Nubazol?
Who do you think, maggot?
But they look like... Never mind. Go ahead. Don't report me.
can breathe.
Keep holding it for science.
Usually what you can do if you see the quest marker move, typically you can go ahead to wherever that is, but looks like this one does
Savor, you're not helping.
want Monty to catch up, so we'll just wait for them to get here.
You got a problem? I got solutions. All parts accounted for. Okay, we're moving out.
That indicates to me, since that quest reward is going to give us a big chunk of reputation, that's probably the end of another campaign chapter, so that'll bring us to 2 out of 3.
Welcome, little morsel.
Just double check. Yes, 2 out of 3. So what we're not gonna do, okay, meet the Vizier at the Burrows. This is gonna unlock the portal to Dornagal, which is great. So last time I talked about how we keep going down, right? We started the Isle of Dorn, you fly down into the Ringing Deeps, there's a quick entrance into Hallowfall, and then there's multiple entrances, a little hard to see on this map, but multiple entrances into Azj-Kahet from either Hallowfall or Ringing Deeps. And thankfully, what Blizzard did was they gave us a way to get back to the top. So after just a few campaign chapters here, you can open up the portal to Dornagal, and it's going to be a portal right over there. Sorry, we're flying away. And that's just going to take you straight back up to the top. So you can actually full circle, which is really good. Blizzard's gotten really good about adding portals and shortcuts to different things.
You are expected inside the first facility on your left.
Look, it's Anduin.
Welcome. I'm Executor Mizrak, also known as the Vizier. Your willingness to meet humbles me.
My friend, you made it. Sorry for the cloak and dagger. We just couldn't risk being discovered.
This is a classic Blizzard move. They love to like split your party up, and then throughout the campaign chapters, you find your compatriots that you came into the zone with. They love to do like ship crashes. So same thing here. So now we're down here in the City of Threads. So this is where a couple of the dungeons are and the raid is. And this last portion of the campaign is really just setting you up for the events that are going to happen within Nerubar Palace and the raid. If you would like to chase the lore, if lore is your thing here in World of Warcraft and you're enjoying it and you want to learn more, there are different versions of the raid that they introduced last expansion called Story Mode. And Story Mode comes out just after a set amount of time, but essentially what it allows you to do is like you can get most of the lore from the campaign that you'll follow along, and then at the end they'll have a story mode quest where they want you to kill the final boss, and so you can go into story mode. It's just you and some NPCs, and you can complete that story mode to understand and see the cinematics, see what happens next, which is a great way, in my opinion, for folks to just stay abreast of the situation. and the story and like where we're headed and what's next and the reason for villains and for things to do, for events to happen. So we're just flying around to the different areas, picking up things, listening to things, reading things. And there's some loot here. This place is super interesting because you'll notice if you're walking around, there's actually these vendors and like herbalism trainers and these items. So these items are actually, they're called like knowledge items, profession knowledge items. And basically every expansion, at least for the past 2 expansions, Blizzard has, we'll talk about profession knowledge in depth when we talk about like professions, but you can find these throughout the world. There's like 2 to 3 in each zone, and something unique about Nerubar is that you can actually access some of the vendors in this city. So it's like it's a weird hybrid. Like there's guards around, but all of the mobs are neutral, but you could attack them. So it's a unique little scenario where you can access some of the vendors, but also if you get caught by a guard, you will get kicked out of the city, which is just too funny. So
we're here to observe and learn about Ansarek. That's all.
We've observed enough.
I will help anyone in need. I do what I can. Together.
And this I promise to you all. With our renewed strength, our kingdom shall be reborn!
I can feel the Void's influence upon her. She's Xalatath's creature now.
How could you know that? Illyria, we need to go.
Maybe you're right. Wait. She's here.
What?
Xalatath.
No!
For Khadgar.
Get the queen to safety!
Move, now!
Repel the intruder!
oh, we got a little
Crawlers! They would assassinate our beloved queen!
Illyria,
scenario.
back there. This isn't you.
I had to take the sun. It was my chance to make up for Dalaran. For Khadgar.
You blame yourself? Illyria, that wasn't your fault.
I could have stopped it all if I had given in to the void as I am fated to.
I'll slay you
We're not yet safe. I don't expect you to understand what I'm dealing with.
Let's try. Wait, get back. But I do. I know all about blaming myself.
Champion,
Yo, what the heck?
slip through and take out the commander.
What do you mean slip through? Yee! Yee!
No! My
Wake up.
swarmlings! Come back!
Finally. Now I can get a clear shot.
Shield me! Protect me!
The flyers are just up ahead.
Valyria, are you thinking of giving up? Giving in? I know what it's like. I can't fix things for you. But you know who you are. And I can listen. If you need me. What is that?
Taste the venom of my fangs, overcrawlers.
What now? Our flyers are dead!
Jump!
Have you lost your... Alright, fine, jumping it is.
I've seen you, Windrunner. Always alone. Pushing everyone away to embrace the hunt. Just like the monster you pretend not to be.
You're the only monster here.
Am I? You've slain hundreds to find me. Was that really all for Khadgar? Or is it just your nature to destroy? Come, Valeria. Embrace who you truly are.
Valeria.
Valyria.
I know who I am. Run all you like. I'm coming for all of you.
All right. Hello?
Alive.
Oh, there he is.
Soaked, but alive.
Let's get to shore.
feel like it's been a while since we've gotten a good necklace.
Deserves a chance.
It's a nice little upgrade. Oh, Draconically Superior. When you reach certain item level thresholds, you'll get you will get access to, you'll get an achievement. So this is Draconically is actually from Dragonflight, so we've reached the item level that was equivalent to having all blue gear in Dragonflight. So that kind of just goes to show you we're a little bit behind in that regard. So okay, so to me this indicates that this is the last of the campaign chapter here, because we have the big reputation increase and the portal to Dornogal. So what I'm trying to determine here is whether or not it's worth a new player going through the campaign. And in my opinion, yes. I mean, you could see here is relatively painless. I mean, there's 3 chapters in each zone. They give you a little bit of story and lore and intro. For us, they're going to unlock this portal to Dornogal, which isn't, incredibly useful. If I'm being honest, in regards to where you'll mostly operate. Like, I don't really ever come back down to Azj-Kahet anymore, but this will open this account wide, right? And it will complete the campaign. So, but what I want to really test is what happens if I hit level 80 before I actually complete this campaign. Does it tell me to go and complete the campaign in order to progress the story into Undermine and the liberation of Undermine? Does it say, hey, here you are, welcome to it, keep on going, see what we can do there. So what we're going to do is I just queued up for a time walking dungeon. And I'm just going to do just a couple side quests to keep getting XP while we wait for that time walking dungeon queue to populate. And then we'll kind of go from there. So bear with me for the next 20 minutes or so while we sort that out. We haven't explored down here, but I know the quests up here aren't crazy. There's a bunch of ways that you can continue to earn XP on the side. So one of those ways is side quests. We talked about dungeons, but side quests, they're those, regular exclamation points that are on the map. You can see here, this is like a side quest hub. There's a couple different ones that we can do. That's actually for a delve, so we don't really need that, but delves, that's another great way to earn XP on the side. So one of the things that would be efficient for us to do would be to just like level up our delves. So delves unlock at a certain rate. I mentioned this when we did our first delve. It started at tier 1, and essentially every time you complete a delve, you will unlock the next difficulty. So if you complete tier 1, you will unlock tier 2. Complete tier 2, you get tier 3. And the rewards for this will cap out at tier 8. So tier 8 is like, well, the rewards for this will cap out at tier 8 and tier 11, so that you can't get any higher item level gear from anything above tier 8. And the best gear that you can get will come from your Great Vault. So a tier 8 delve, when you complete that, will award you with heroic track. We'll talk about all this in a little bit. Heroic track level gear, which will in your Great Vault. So the end of the delve, if you just complete the delve, it's a lower tier of gear. So it's not infinitely farmable heroic track gear, but you can fill out your Great Vault with that. So, and a tier 8 delve it's not the most difficult, but it's not the easiest just as is. So Like, I don't think that I could go in with this gear and complete a tier 8 delve by any means, but using some of the other gearing methods that we have, it'll be pretty quick. In terms of like difficulty, it's gonna be sort of one of the lowest difficulty ways to get hero track gear. There are definitely some things that help, like having your own gear and also leveling up your brand. So, oh, I made a mistake. I thought I queued up for time walking. This is not time walking. This is a war within dungeon. We're not going to leave this because if you leave a dungeon, you'll get what's called the deserter buff. And we don't want the deserter buff. So we're going to stay here in the dungeon and just complete it and see what XP we get. This guy seems to be practicing his Mythic Plus route here. So this is the Rookery. We already did this dungeon. We did this together as part of the campaign in a follower dungeon. So we're just going to go through and complete this with the group. Should be relatively quick. We will not get the maximum XP that we could get, but that's okay. So you can see here a good example of the kick macro. I can have this guy targeted. Oh, I was out of range, I guess. So your kick target needs to be in range. But I'll try and show another example of it when things are a little bit better grouped. So it doesn't matter which one I have targeted. I'm going to save my cooldowns here because we're about to fight the boss next. I want to be able to spend those right when we get in there. And I didn't hit. The one thing that I'll have to change, you can see here in the middle, we've started to fight our first boss. So this is Bigwigs. This little timer that was right in the middle of my screen, I'll move it around next time. Oops. Oh, that's so funny. So in Mythic difficulty, those beams come out on these graded areas, like these grates. There's 4 beams. And so the safe spots are always these platforms, but I guess in normal difficulty, 3 beams come out, so that doesn't work. Whatever. So we'll float down here. We picked up the feather, which allows us to charge, and when you free a Stormrook, you get a small little buff. It just inflicts a little bit of nature damage, but I'm going to type /bigwigs to open up the bigwigs menu, and I'm going to click on bars and show moving anchors. So this is where the emphasized bars are. I'm just going to move them down here for now so you can like reference those and see what those look like. Bigwigs, hide moving anchors. Yo, what the heck? What the heck, guy? You can see now there's a lot more going on than there was before. In the follower dungeon, at least in my opinion. So these mobs will do some abilities that will get more important and deal more damage the higher level that we go in terms of difficulty. So like right now we're still doing a normal dungeon, but those abilities will become really important, not to like stand in or anything like that on mythic difficulty. And you'll probably also notice this little weird pinging noise. The pinging noise comes from bigwigs. So it's just indicating, hey, an ability is happening. So like that suck ability is important when you're in a Mythic Plus dungeon or when you're in any dungeon really. So it's notifying you, and those are customizable. You can change those. You can change them based on the specific ability, which is what makes these add-ons like super powerful. And so this boss, I don't think we went through this on the LFR or the follower dungeon difficulty, but this boss corrupts its targets, or corrupts a target and creates a debuff that needs to be passed around from party member to party member. So you probably noticed me run out to that mage after I had it. You don't want it to stick around in the melee group, because if you get it 2 times in a row, you can die. And you can also turn those off, those sound effects off, if you need to.
Darker and colder as we go down. But there are more survivors. What is that? The lift is out. If we want to keep going.
Apparently, either my potions or something. Okay, you don't need to pull all that, buddy. It's just normal. Yeah, you can disable those sound effects if you want to, but it's good to sort of be notified when something is happening. Seems like this is not letting me stealth. Not that it's not letting me stealth. Either the buff that we got from the birds is keeping me in combat because it will target folks that are just close enough to hit when the tank pulls them, or one of the buffs from the leveling event is proccing when we get into close melee range. So that like deep gong seems to be when there are things, maybe not necessarily things on the ground, but when something dies, it's important. And then that lighter gong, that higher pitched chime, seems to happen when there's an AoE ability going out. So you can leverage the bigwigs to help when you need to use your defensives and stuff like that. So this fight is going to be a little bit different than last time. Slightly. We're going to kill it right now, but I'll show you on Mythic what it really looks like. Okay, so we're pretty close. We got a bar and a half to go. Unrested XP. I'm just gonna turn in this quest just to see where it brings us. Just jump in here and see if I can rescue. I don't even know where it is. Oh god. Just queue up. Queue up for time walking this time. Gives us a ton of XP. There he is.
Talk to me.
15k. Pretty decent chunk. We'll just keep going, and if the queue pops, and we're super close to a level, we'll just ignore the queue. So we need to burn these pods. Kill this guy. We'll put our poisons back on. Like I mentioned, gathering professions give you a little bit of XP too, so honestly, we could just spend the rest of the time herbing and mining. You know what I think we'll do is actually, instead of queuing, I'll leave the queue. We're just going to pick up this quest right here to do this delve, because that delve should... Oh my god, the delve quest give 100,000 experience? That's a lot of experience. So we're going to go over and do this spiral weave delve, because we're going to have to level our delves up anyways. I'm going to ditch these other quests here. So we're not going to need them. Those are more side quests. And I'm going to fly over. Looks like the spiral weave is actually down here. Fly over to this delve and we'll just knock this out on a higher difficulty. So one of the things that you're going to want to do, whether it's through leveling or whatever, is you're going to want to try and get up to tier 8, like I said. So unlocking tier 7. I think it just says for who want a greater challenge. So tier 4 requires level 80 and the completion of the Kazalgar main story campaign on your warband. I'll be darned. So that sort of solves the mystery here in regards to completing the campaign story. So yes, my big question finally has an answer. We want to complete the main story campaign at least on one character on our account in order to unlock everything that's available to us. So if you've been following along, keep going, because unlocking the main story or the delves through the main story quest is going to be important in the end game. You want to be able to get tier 8 delves unlocked. It's not always particularly useful. It is not always particularly useful when it comes to gearing your character. You will not do them forever, but right now at the end of season 2, you can unlock a belt that will be a really good item level upgrade. We'll unlock that pretty much right away. And you can, I don't want to do that. And you can get access to hero track gear in your vault if you can complete a tier 8 delve. So you can do these delves on pretty much any difficulty. And then there are also what are referred to as bountiful delves. We'll talk about those as an opportunity as well. I don't understand where the webs are coming from. So this is a different delve from the one we did before. We had a quest. We ran in here. It looks like it wants us to just slay Nerubian groups as we progress through the delve. So that's exactly what we're going to do. You can see there's webs that spawn on the ground in these Nerubian delves. As Magni will tell you, they'll summon Nerubians. And we want to be picking up these little jars because they have XP for Bran. And so when Bran gets XP, his abilities, he levels up just like we do. His abilities get stronger, and he'll help us more. So there's more benefit. He can't, carry us through a delve per se, but he can definitely contribute pretty substantially, either in terms of like healing or doing damage. So pick up the jars, get the Bran XP, pick up the crates. If you find all the crates within a delve, you get a achievement. This one up because we're in combat. I think we're in combat with this thing. Try and kill it. Looks like we're at 5 of 6 Nerubian groups. That web chest would probably give us a power, but I don't know if we necessarily need it. So I think we have to go down here. Oh, cool. We got it. We'll just do this one anyways. Webbed hostages rescued. The delves have a pretty good pattern typically of, you know, sending you through without really having to either double back or having you double back on purpose, which is good. Makes them really fluid. As a rogue, obviously we have some perks that we can leverage here, like stealth. That could come in handy when we're looking for a tier 8 delve. We're gonna try and complete one today, hopefully, before the reset, just so we get a piece of hero gear. But honestly, the quickest and easiest piece of hero gear that we'll be able to acquire in our Great Vault is going to be by completing a Mythic Plus dungeon. So we will absolutely be doing that before the weekly reset. And I will show you how easy it is to do that. These little stones, I think I mentioned in the last one, they are a respawn point for you, and they also will give you an extra life in your delve. So with Mythic Plus dungeon running, the point of that sort of content, or what makes it challenging, is every dungeon will have a time limit to it. With delves, it's not about doing it quickly, although you do want to try and complete it quickly just because you want to get out of there and move on to your next thing. But it's really about being methodical was the goal that they were aiming for with delves, to give folks that might not want the fast-paced combat aspect of Mythic Plus, you know, being the only way to get gear at the highest level. I'm pretty sure that the next thing that we do is going to level us up. Okay, the next thing we do, that'll be cool. This is going to be the final boss of the delve. So after this, we'll unlock the treasure room. We'll get whatever loot is in there for a tier 3 delve. Oh, impaling spikes. I'm pretty sure Little Wigs also helps with delves too. So down here at the bottom, you can see... Oh, he's hurting me. Down here at the bottom, you can see the timer. So spikes are going to be coming out in 3, 2, 1. Here's spikes. And then there's ads. So we have the ads coming out. So we're dodging the spikes. We're AoEing the ads. And then he's these burrowing tremors, so we gotta run away. Back to spikes. So Little Wig's extremely useful, especially for new players. Gonna play that little chime noise or that ping noise when an ability is happening. And bam, huge. So as soon as we hit level 80, we got the quest Call to Lordaeron, which is a little odd to me. This must be the other side of the latest campaign quest. I've done it on the Alliance side, and they don't bring us to Lordaeron, but that would make sense. So on the Alliance side, or on the Horde side, you get this quest to bring you the Call to Lordaeron. This is gonna bring you up to date on like a side quest that's related to the story and the current state of like the Horde and the Alliance. So kind of interesting. You don't have to do it right away. I just auto looted a bunch of stuff, so we'll take a look at the chat here. We got Valor Stones, we got Resonance Crystals, we got a Cipher Key, which begins a quest, which we'll talk about. We got a bag of golds. We got a couple upgrade items for Magni. So we unlocked the Utility Curio, which is this biofuel rocket gear. Each enemy slain increases movement speed 2% and haste 2%, sagging up to 10 times. So that's a nice little upgrade for us in the delves. We got a couple more bags that we're going to open up. Looks like that's the last of them. And we hit level 80. We did it. So we're going to leave this delve. Click on Ancient Curiosity. That gave Brand some XP. And we're going to walk out of here. So one of the things that I just want to test is going to be what's available to us just from hitting level 80 up on the surface in Dornogal without having completed the campaign. So if we walk back into this delve, which delves are repeatable, you can do this as many times as you want. We can see here tier 4. So to get to tier 8, which is the highest that we can get gear from in our weekly vault, requires level 80 in the completion of the main story campaign on your warband. We did not get there yet, so we want to complete this, but I just want to see what else can be unlocked. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hearth up to Dornogal, and we're just going to see kind of like what's available to us in the town and go from there. And we'll fly back down. We're back up here in the inn. So we have the Flames Radiance Recruiter, but we don't have, so normally there are a bunch of little NPCs here that would give us like quests and things to do. Very similar to this one. So this is a different icon that we haven't really seen yet. We'll explain that in a little bit. Okay. So it really does look like a lot of this stuff. So this is the Archaic Cipher Key. This is kind of like the delve area in Dornogal. It's right over here. So we can turn in the Archaic Cipher Key. And this comes with a little bit of currency here. So Undercoins, Resonance Crystals, Delver's Journey, and a Hellcaller chest. The Hellcaller chest is related to the current Diablo event that's going on. When you open a Hellcaller chest, you get 6 Hellstone shards. You can turn in the Hellstone shards to get set appearances. And I don't remember exactly where they are. WoW's 20th anniversary, so it would be this second appearance, which looks really cool on the Undead Rogue, so we might get that. The way that you get those is by completing weekly events and then looking for treasure goblin spawns. There's one that spawns right outside of Dornogal right here. and spawns in Stormwind and Orgrimmar. And those will give you that currency as well as a chance to drop a mount, and you can turn that currency in for a transmog. So we probably want that. We'll do that. Delver's Journey is related to Bran. And if you click on the Delver's Guide on his table, you'll see how far along you are. The more delves you complete, the more times you turn in that weekly Archaic Cipher quest, the more XP that you'll get, and you'll unlock different things from the vendors. And then at the very end, you get a campsite for your warband, which is the character creation screen. Here is the vendor. So these are all the things that I have available. If I complete the seasonal refresher, which will pop up over here once I finish the campaign, I can get a restored coffer key and some consumables. You can buy restored coffer keys at a certain level in the Delver's Journey. You can buy schematics for your mount. You can buy transmog stuff, so like backpack, like this one here, or a little rocket backpack, or a funny mushroom helmet, or a full ensemble. So this is a cloth ensemble, plate ensemble, mail ensemble, and a leather ensemble. So that could be a cool way to get some quick transmog. You can also get all the weapons in an arsenal, and then you can buy veteran level gear, but you need to progress through at a certain level. So the currency for that is Undercoin, which we just got 1,500 of, and we have 3,000 total. We got 1,500 from turning in that quest, I believe. And so you can leverage this as a currency to pick up potentially veteran gear. If you're far enough along, you can get reagents, you can get transmog, you can get all that stuff using Undercoin. And you get a little bit of Undercoin at the end of every delve, and you can turn in that weekly for a lump sum there. So the other thing that unlocked here is going to be some of the endgame systems, which you'll see identified by this like pink exclamation point. So we're walking over towards one now. It's in the bank. This is going to explain the Great Vault to new players. So if we click on this one, it says many of Dornogal's systems have been dormant for millennia, back online. Once this cache of armor and weapons would have supported the Earthen. The vault is housed here in Dornogal within the Council's treasury. It's right in the back there. Obtain a piece of loot from the Great Vault. So we'll accept that quest. It doesn't really give us anything. It's more of a tutorial. It's got 23 gold. And then right next to the bank over on the left is this little house. It's called Mythic Aspirations. And inside is a vendor with another quest to introduce you to another endgame system. I'm just going to accept this quest, and we'll talk about it as we're kind of walking around. But basically what I wanted to do was come up here and see, where did this put us, right? And it didn't put us anywhere. We have essentially... we need to complete the campaign. What we want to be seeing is the next steps in sort of the campaign quest. And it looks like there is no skip ahead. So if you're a brand new player, keep going through the War Within campaign. It should be your main priority, even if you hit level 80. You want to get that done because that's going to unlock some more stuff. So I'm going to fly down. We're going to go into the Ringing Deeps. And then there's a couple different ways to get into Azj-Kahet, but I'll just go with the flow here. So we'll go down into Hallowfall. You can see how quick of a turnaround that was. And then we're going to cut through this way instead of going all the way around like we did during the campaign. So I'm looking for an entrance downward. And it's convenient we went this way because we're just going to turn in this Delver's Call quest real quick. I like to keep my map nice and clean and tidy. So we just did that spiral weave. Gave us 150 kedge, which we'll actually probably put to use. And then we're going to fly over to the main quest hub and turn in this last quest with the Weaver.
Step into my path. I anticipated your exodus from the city would be boisterous. But you've brought two powerful Kaheti into our humble conspiracy and reunited with your companions. Impressive.
So this is what I meant about this renown being a little bit different. So within the Severed Threads renown, we're still gaining these renown levels. We went up all the way to 7, but you actually get to pick your alliance between the Weaver, the Vizier, and the General. And each one has like different benefits, but only when you are out and about in Azj-Kahet. So it's just some like basic world benefits. So we connect everybody here.
Remember you. Our mutual agent has informed me that their allies from above will storm our realm for Xal'atath's head.
However, disposing of Xal'atath will not be enough to save our people. It is
So long story short, we came into the Spider Kingdom. We made allies with a spider that thinks twice about the direction that their people are heading, because the Queen is under Xal'atath's influence and the influence of the Void. So she is helping Xal'atath. Xal'atath has promised her power. These folks don't agree, so they're going to team up, and we're going to help them and try and defeat Xal'atath, or try and defeat Queen Ansarek.
But she is still Nephris's blood. Is there no redeeming her?
We blinded our tired hearts from the truth, Widow. Ansarek is nothing like her mother. Indeed, but we three can work together to restore Nephres's ideals instead.
I understand. We must slay Ansarek and sever the threads that shackle our people. I've been expecting.
Turn in the quest here. Man, looks like we just got all 3. Speak with Farron at Farron's Advanced. Oh, I don't think we actually need to do that. We're just going to drop that one. We're going to talk to Illyria, main story quest, and here we go, world quest and adventure mode. So this is going to be the main campaign unlock. This is going to unlock world quests for us, which I mentioned are ways that we get gear. And then it's going to unlock adventure mode, which just essentially means that for every other character on your account forever and eternity, well, up until this level cap, you can level any way that you want to. We don't need to spend cash, so we're not going to do that. So this unlocks the portal, which is now over here. You saw that just pop up. So we just drop through the portal and brings us up to the top, back into Dornogal. And this portal goes both ways. So you can, obviously you can fly down into the Ringing Deeps, into Hallowfall. You can fly into the different other areas. And this is the quest that I was looking for originally, but you can take this portal back down straight to Azj-Kahet. And it's right over here. There's a little portal icon. But that quest was what I was looking for. And I don't know where it went. Which is a shame. I'm sure it'll just pop up maybe if I do like a reload or something like that. But for right now, we're just going to continue along with the main War Within quest, which is bringing us over here to Surface Bound.
Oh, Illyria, Anduin,
and that unlocks World Quest and Adventure Mode. Campaign complete. We did it. We did it. This also gets you Earthen Allied Race quests available, so you can go through and unlock the Earthen as a playable race. Adventure Mode, your future characters can complete zones in any order and access World Quests immediately, and then World Quests and events have been unlocked. Now, this quest here will continue along with this portion of the Season 1 campaign. I'm going to leave this for right now because we don't need to. When you open up your quest log, you can actually see a bunch of different campaign quests. They're all up here at the top. They're not tied to sort of any one specific area. These are the campaign quests. And so you can go in a bunch of different directions. You can continue the campaign by accepting the quest Trouble in the Highlands, which is right here. This is going to catch you up to the events that we are absolutely currently at. You can go into the Undermine, which is where we're going to head first. We're going to team up with Gazlo because this is for Season 2. I know this can be a little bit confusing. And then these other quests are more story quests. So the Fleet Arrives is the continuation of the story that we were just on. Lingering Shadows, I don't remember this is Illyria's quest. And then the Fate of the Kirin Tor, this is the quest that talks a little bit more about Khadgar since he kind of fell out of Helran defending it. So for new players, the most important one to start working on is actually going to be when Opportunity explodes, which takes us down into the Ringing Deeps. And we're actually going to go down here to Opportunity Point. So in terms of playing the game, this is probably where we will pick up next time. What I actually want to do right now, I think, is probably stop the live broadcast, and I'm going to record a quick video that's just going to talk about the different ways to get gear. It's going to talk about raiding. It's going to talk about dungeons, delves. It's going to talk about crafting, all the different things that are available to us. And I'm going to break it down in my YouTube channel with timestamps that will allow you to go to different areas. So that's going to be it for the live stream today. When we pick up, I think I'm going to try and stream tonight because I want to get some weekly items done so that we have something to loot in our Great Vault that's going to give us a head start in our quest to get 3K IO and to get ahead of the curve achievement. So this is where we're going to leave off now. This is level 80 campaign finished. We're at 538 item level. Take a look at the YouTube channel for a 30-minute or so video on different ways to gear up, and then we'll put those into practice when we start our next live stream. So the next live stream and recorded episode of this, we will go through the Undermine campaign because that's going to give us higher item level gear. We're going to do a little bit of raiding. We're going to do the LFR raid, and we're going to do some dungeons. Some Mythic Plus dungeons so that we sort of build out our Great Vault with some options for us to pick when the weekly reset happens tomorrow. So take a look at that video. I'll put that out and I'll make sure it's part of the playlist. This is the start of Endgame. So we made it. We're level 80. We'll get started on gearing up our character and working towards our goals. And we'll talk more about like what those goals mean in the next session. If you like the video series, definitely like and subscribe. It really, really helps keep me motivated, helps keep me going. If you're starting from the very beginning, level 1, take a look at the playlist that this video is associated with and go back to episode 1. If you're starting at level 70, that starts at episode 6. And if you're here with me, level 80, looking to gear up and get into it, episode 10 is going to be where we start that off. So congratulations on finishing the campaign along with me. Thanks for watching and have